Hello and welcome to the Academy of Universal Self-Mastery. I'm Tomas Garza, your Director of Faculty Relations and Media, and this is the Faculty Spotlight interview series where I have the opportunity and the privilege to be able to sit down with every single member of our incoming faculty from all over the world. Now, these are fantastic discussions that I hope you will be able to watch and get a feel for all of the wisdom and experience that our faculty members bring to the Academy of Universal Self-Mastery. And it's my pleasure to welcome today from Toronto, Randi Goodman. Randi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Well, we're honored to have you here on the faculty as well. And this is going to be a lot of fun because we were chatting a minute ago. And I know that you have a lot to share with us about what you're bringing to the Academy. But tell us first, how did the Academy come into your life? How'd you find it?
So Aisha, who's here in Toronto, introduced me. She's actually been part of my shows, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Okay.
But she actually had asked me to be part of the HypnoBiz conference, which I was honored to be a part of that. So I had a course there. Unfortunately, it couldn't be live, but it was supposed to be. And then she put out there that you guys were creating this faculty and you wanted people to offer courses to add value to those out there and creating this huge online platform for people all over the world. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to be part of that. If I can just add value to somebody else, this is what I love. I get mental income from that. Oh, yeah. And I'd love to be part of it. So that's really the short and sweet of it.
Okay, that's great. Yes, yeah, I just met so many people through the HypnoBiz. And so, yeah, that's very interesting. What will you be teaching then at the Academy?
So one of the things I'll be teaching is the 7 proven marketing strategies to explode your business. So yeah, it's some tools that people really need to grow their business. A lot of people don't implement. So
I see. Mm-hmm. Okay. And are there some examples of tools that people don't implement that you highlight?
Absolutely. So things like having landing pages or websites, having an opt-in, having some kind of giveaway where people want to give you their email address in exchange for something of value to them. You know, how do you connect with other people to help grow your network? You know, if I have 1,000 people and you have 1,000 people and someone else has, well, how can I tap into those? How can I tap into yours and make it beneficial on a win-win-win? I benefit, you benefit, and the end user benefits, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there's just so many pieces to the program that people need to know about for their business and that they should be implementing. There's a lot more. I don't want to give everything away, but yeah.
Exactly. Well, there is a lot. And you mentioned a word that's been coming up today in every conversation I've had, and that's connection.
Right.
Very interesting that you would point that out. And you mentioned this is one of the things that you're offering. There's something else. What is that?
I've also done a lot of book writing and publishing. I have six compilations of my own, plus I'm a part of 2 other ones, including one with Brian Tracy. And I've made almost 200 people #1 international best-selling authors. So I have created courses to basically help people through the basics of, you know, book writing and publishing for themselves. Not everybody wants to be part of a compilation or work with somebody else on it. Some people want to do it themselves, and this is just a few tools to help them out.
Okay, well, that's wonderful because we have a number of people that are authors on the platform and so many more that are aspiring to be authors. So I'm happy to hear that this information is out there.
Yes.
And how did you get into that, into the writing, into the compilations? Is there a story behind that?
So I've been producing trade shows and conferences for about 12 years now. And a few years into it, I took on a partner for a few years. So I haven't had that partner for a few years now, but somewhere in the middle, I had one for a few years. And one of the things that he introduced as a project that we would take on was book writing and publishing. So we started with one compilation, not thinking this would become anything. Let's just see where it goes,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Right.
And so I had to dive into that and figure it out and research and study and how do you do this and how do you do it right?
Okay.
So it was
Yeah.
a lot of work involved in making that happen.
Mhm.
And it became a series of 5 for the Empowering Women to Succeed series. So there's just under 70 authors in that one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I continued with 365 Empowering Stories, which has just under 150 people. So, made quite a few people number ones because we brought every single one of the books to number 1 status. And now they get to have these books with this
I see.
beautiful emblem on it. That's, like,
Oh,
and they can have their
yeah.
pictures on the back and use this as a marketing tool for their
Sure.
business. And, it's really a tool to help you elevate yourself and add credibility when you don't have the doctorate after your name or some other
Yeah.
initial,
Right.
and if you do, it helps you elevate even more because you had the, I'm going to say cojones if that's okay,
Right.
to share your information and show that you're an expert. Not a
Right.
lot of people have, the courage to put it out there.
Yeah.
But when you do, imagine what can happen with your business. So
Yes, and life in general. Yeah, I mean,
yes,
I think there's so many of us can attest to that personally. So that's a
exactly.
lot of fun. So, what would you say to someone who's an aspiring author and they're not sure if they want to do a compilation versus publish a book completely on their own? Yeah, what
Well,
suggestions would you have for that person?
so what I would say is when you are part of a compilation, it actually helps you get there faster
Yeah.
because
All right.
like I just told you, there was a lot of research, a lot of work, a lot, right?
Mhm.
Spending an entire year basically working on it to try to make sure it's going to be right. And when you are part of a compilation and you don't have to do all that work, you just basically have to write your chapter.
Right.
And depending on who's doing the publishing, who's like doing the compilation, they do different things. We decided we're going to go all out and do it right. And I'm not saying, there's some out there that do and there's some out there that don't.
Sure.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So, but the editing was included, the publishing was included. There's lots of compilations out there where they don't include the editing. So be really careful. Okay. Do you get to have your picture on the outside cover? And what's that going to cost you? Is it going to cost you an additional arm and a leg? Or is it going to be affordable? Right?
Sure.
But it really helps you super fast get to become an author rather than trying to figure it all out yourself and ending up putting it on the shelf because you need to spend time on your family and making money and everything else in the world.
Sure.
It's a structured way of getting there. There's a time frame. You have to get things done at a certain time. Yes, you pay for it, right?
Right.
But your editing and publishing are included, like I said, and somebody else is doing all the work. Someone else is doing the layout. Someone else has the knowledge of putting the cover together. You don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that. You don't have to worry about, who are you going to hire for the layout? Who's the printer? Who's the, who am I going to publish with? I self-published. I looked into indie author professional publishing systems, and they have so many rules and regulations. I opted out of it after 6 months, right? I said, just give me my money back. I'm not going this route because this is ridiculous. All you're doing is delaying me and I want to go forward. So it's not for everybody, but it might be for some people, right? So I'm not trashing it. I'm just expressing my own experience.
Exactly.
And, so if they want to become an author, the quickest, fastest, easiest, cheapest way to do it is to be in a compilation, especially with a group that's already done it before, right? And so
Right.
they've seen success already. Whereas when you do it yourself, and all the power to you, write your own books. I'm not discouraging that at all. But if you're looking at both, I would say do a compilation first. It helps you. Now you've got something in your hand to elevate you, right? Where when you're creating your own book, you can say, well, I already am a best-selling or a #1 best-selling
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever, I
Exactly.
already am. The credibility is already there. It's already elevated you. It makes it so much easier for you the second time when you go to do your own book. So, and besides, you've been through part of the process already. So it's not unfamiliar to you, right? And of
Exactly.
course, you can always
Yeah.
ask questions of things that you want to know. Hopefully, the group you're doing the compilation with will be supportive and help you with your own book,
Right.
whether it's just helping to market or whatnot. It doesn't have to be huge, but that's my
Yeah.
that's my
No, it's so interesting because I think for a lot of people that are considering writing a book, it's an avenue that maybe they don't consider. So I want to ask you, in your experience, what is the thing that you most enjoy about writing?
I don't. I
Ah,
hate it.
I love it. All right.
So yes, I'm an 8-time #1 international best-selling author that does not like to write.
Okay.
Now, once you start to get into it and your story starts to flow, it's more
Right.
enjoyable.
Sure,
But
sure,
I'm a
sure.
math and science student. I
Oh,
am not an English student.
I got
Any course that had to do with English and writing was not my favorite.
no.
so,
Okay.
so for all those out there that think I'm not a writer and I can't do it, and I'm in the same boat.
All
So if
right.
I can do it, you can do
I
it.
I love it. I love it. I know
And
that.
you need a professional editor. Absolutely a professional editor. You cannot do it on your own. So don't even worry about your English, your grammar, your sentence
Right.
structure. An editor will fix all of that.
Yes, agreed. Most definitely agreed. Okay, well, I love that. I think a lot of people will resonate with that, with what you just said. So, when you're working with people in the capacity of teacher and student, what do you most hope that your students get out of working with you?
So honestly, I'm providing value.
Ah,
That's like you guys are providing value. I'm just here to add to that. I want to provide value.
love.
I spend most of my time in the real estate world.
Mhm.
So, yes, I've been doing conferences and trade shows for 12 years. I've scaled back. I haven't stopped, but I've scaled back. I don't do as many major ones as I did before. I've scaled back on the book writing and publishing, so I do not have a compilation going on right now, although I do have my own book that I need to finish at some point.
No,
But I'm not, I've really scaled back on that part. So the information that I've created from my experiences, from my education, as far as book writing and publishing, as far as marketing, that kind of thing, and as you heard, I was a math and science student. Those
right.
topics were not in my realm of growing up,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But all of that, I really just want to be able to continue to share that information, and hopefully people will benefit from it. Well, I know they'll benefit from it, but if they actually implement some of the things, they're going to thrive in their businesses, in their personal lives,
Yeah.
and be able to have the success that they want. So I'm not making, there's no monetary gain here. It's just pure share information. Don't be the best kept secret, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
um,
I love
Usually for your business, but I'm not even looking for anything. There's no call to action. It's just, let me share this info. If I've helped you in some way, shape, or form, then maybe you want to connect with me on a different level, and
that.
and see what happens. So
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's I appreciate that. And Randy, one more thing before we wrap up. So, what would you say to a prospective student or someone who's looking at either of your classes or course offerings, and maybe they're on the fence about it? They're trying to decide whether they should take it or go this route. What kind of suggestions or advice would you have for that person?
well, first of all, take action, because if you
Yeah.
don't take action, nothing will happen, right? No change is going to happen if you don't take action. And
Right.
I'm an action person. I'm a
Uh-huh.
results person.
Right
So,
on.
if you're sitting on the fence, just go for it.
Okay.
Seriously, just go for it. The information is valuable. Anybody can implement it, whether you do it yourself or hire out someone to do it for you. But the knowledge of knowing what you need to do and getting a little bit of itty bitty, nitty gritty information on it is really good for your business, so that you have the know-how when you are speaking to someone that you hire, that you know a little bit about what you're talking about, right?
Helps. Yeah, it does. It most certainly does. Okay. Well, Randy, thank you so much for joining me here today. This has been a pleasure, and we're very happy to have you and all of this wealth of information here at the Academy. So again, welcome, and thank you for joining me.
And thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Guys, this has been Randi Goodman on the Faculty Spotlight interview series, and we'll see you here at the International Academy of Universal Self-Mastery. Everybody have a great day.